Hi everyone. So in this video, we will learn parameter passing into FastAPI. So I hope you have watched my previous video. If you haven't, then please I do recommend to watch this video first, then come to this video. So now let's get started. So now we'll follow this FastAPI official documentation. So we can pass parameters into our path. So now let me show you. So suppose we have some parameter. Let's say this is our local host. So in our last video we have created this simple application. So suppose we have some parameter, we want to pass some parameter. Let's say we want to get some kind of book from the book ID. Okay, so let's write the parameter passing URL. So now that will be something like this. So we need to add one this curly braces here, and then we can get the book ID from this URL. So this will be this kind of syntax, and now we need to get this book ID into our function. So now it will get this book ID from this URL, and then we can just return. So now let's say book ID is equal to book ID. So now let's run our server. So as you can see in localhost, we are not getting anything. But if I'll say books/1, then as you can see, we got book ID. So by default, it is treating this one as a string. So now if I'll say uh, um, pip, then this is also one like and this is also we are getting as a book ID. Okay, so now we'll go ahead. I hope you understood how we can pass this book ID parameter. Okay, so now we'll move ahead. So now we can also define the types of the parameters. So suppose we are we are passing one, then instead of treating as a string, now it will treat it as an integer. If we'll say something called, we'll write colon here, and then we'll define it as an int. So we need to write int here. So now let me go, and then let me pass the same thing again. So as you can see, now it is not giving us a string. Instead, it is giving us a integer value, right? So now if I'll try to pass some string here, let's say str. So as you can see, it is giving us the error. So now let's go into our documentation, API documentation. So there we'll get the clear idea. So now we'll go into docs. You can also go uh, into the second documentation page, means it will be in a redoc. So now uh, go into this, and you can also get documentation of our APIs here. Okay, so now we will only follow Swagger documentation here. This is inbuilt in FastAPI. Redoc also inbuilt in FastAPI, but we will follow this. So now if I'll click on this, then as you can see, it will take now an integer. Okay, so now if I'll if I'll click on this, try it out, and if I'll pass something called string, then let's go. So as you can see, it is giving us an error that value must be an integer. So I must need to pass the integer value. Okay, so if I'll go below, before adding integer value, as you can see, it is also giving the location where where we are doing the mistake. So in a instead of in a string, we need to pass integer, and it is also giving that message. Okay, so uh, now what we need to do, like click on this. So now it is also showing some validation error. Okay, so now we'll add integer value here, and now we'll execute this. So now you can see that we are getting the successful response with this book ID. Okay, so now this is the thing, and then now we'll move ahead. So it is also converting our data into particular type. So as I mentioned that if we are passing string here, then if we'll pass integer here, let's say 1, then it is automatically converting that into integer, because we have added int here as a data type. So this is also can be done by fast API path parameter technique, sorry, parameter passing technique. So now as I mentioned, that it is also giving us the message, like data validation message. so that is also we can do. And now we will go ahead. So now we can also see the response into our documentation page. So now as you can see, we can also pass string, float, and boolean instead of int. So we can also pass here bool and another data types which pydentic provides. So all the validation is being performed by pydentic. So we can also get the benefits of that. So now uh, we'll go ahead and we'll see. So we also need to make sure that whatever function we write first means we need to write the functions or URL with functions into some specific order. So suppose let's do one thing, that let's copy this and just I'll just paste the function here, and then in this URL I'm saying that book, only book. Okay, so suppose like I will go into this URL. Let's say I'll go into this URL, let's say book. So now as you can see that we need to also get this. So now we don't need to pass this parameter anymore. So now let's run again. As you can see, it is giving us an internal server error because like we are passing book ID here as well. So now we'll just say my book. Okay, so now we'll run this, and as you can see we are getting we are getting this. Okay, so now if we are getting this response, or if we'll paste this code instead of this to after this hello world function, then it will not go into this. If we'll pass this book, okay, so it will not go into the first, but it will go into the second. Means it will not go into this because it will try to find that book, uh, that book into this, and then like it into this URL, and it will find the correct pattern, but it will not it is not in a integer format. So now it will give us an error. So now it will not go into the uh, second URL pattern. Okay, so now I hope you understood that we also need to write our function in a specific order. Okay, so now we'll go ahead, and also we can't give the same URL name to the different function. So that is also one thing which we need to take care. Okay, so if we'll try to give the same, let's say I'll just copy this, and I'll just also remove this. So now as you can see, we both the function have same URL. So now it is not the good thing, so it will give us an error. So now we'll move ahead, and suppose we want to predefine something. So now I'll just remove this. Let me remove this. Okay, and I'll just also remove this as of now, and this also. So now suppose we need to define some strings or some variables, so which we need to predefine. So now if we want to use that, then that also we can do in FastAPI. So let's do that, then you will understand more. So now what we'll do, I'll just import this from this is in Python, right? So we use in Python as well. So now this is the function, this is the model which we have imported. So now what we'll do, we'll create a model. So now we'll create a model. Okay, so now we are creating the model, and model of strings means if I'll give some name as let's say str1, means as str1, I'll give the names for this. So let's say str2 and str3 I'm giving. Okay, and then I'll give the name as Evan, and then I'll give the simple name. Okay, so for your understanding, I'll give the same simple name A1, A2, and A3. Okay, and yes, so this is the strings, and this is the values of that string. Okay, and this is the part of our model. Okay, so now what we need to do, suppose we need to get this model strings. Okay, so now we will add the model name as well. So we need to say model name So this the type of this string will be model name, and then we can also do some checks here. So now suppose we can also say like if a or I can just give the model string. So if the model string which we are getting is equal to the our models str1. Okay, if this is the thing, then what we can do, we can return uh, our model string, but we are not getting the model string. So in our url we also need to do something like this, and we need to pass the model string. So you can give any name. Okay, I'm just giving model string. So now if this will be the case, means if this will be in this will be equal to our string one into our model name, then we'll just return that. So that, let's say, model underscore string is equal to model string, and then we can also give some message into the same, that this is a1. Okay, so this is a1. So we can also do something like this. So if I'll run my server and check, so now let me run my server. Let me go into docs, and now what we'll do, so as you can see, if I'll try it out, as you can see, we are getting three kinds of options for this model string. So if I'll select this a1, if I'll execute this, then it will return uh, this kind of output. Okay, so we are getting this because we are passing a1. So suppose we are passing a2, but we haven't defined anything for this. Okay, so now it will give some kind of error. So it is giving us a null because we haven't defined for a2. So now what we'll do, we'll try to do some other checks which we can do with this. So now let's do, so now suppose we are passing s2. Okay, so now we can check that if if model name. Okay, so if model string dot value is equal to a2. So suppose we are passing a2 into this model string, so we will just check that if this the if the value of get of this model string is equal to a2. If this is the case, then we will return something. So I'll just copy and paste this line, and I'll just say like this is a2. Okay, so now we are just returning that. If this is not the case, then we can just return another print statement return statement, and then we will just return that it might be it might be it might be a3. Okay, okay, so now as you can see, we can do this kind of thing using this concept called predefined value. So now we can create enum class, and then we can just do this kind of thing. So we can just match the incoming value with our model's predefined value, and we can just return these things. Okay, so now if I'll run this again, let me go into my docs, and then I'll try to run this again. So as you can see, if we'll try it out, then if I'll choose 3, then if I'll execute this, then as you can see, we are getting this thing. So as you can see, it is going in our last return statement, and it is returning us that it might be a3 because we are not passing a1 and a2. So it is going in a3. So now if I'll click on this a2, then as you can see, we are getting this is a2. Okay, so it is going in this second condition. So we can also do check this kind of thing, and we can also perform this kind of operation. So we can also check this. Okay, so now I hope you understood. Now we'll go ahead. So we have checked this things as well. Okay, so now we'll move ahead. Okay, so this is also we have done. We have also checked this. So now what we'll do, we will pass paths. Okay, so suppose like I'm having something called localhost slash books. Okay, slash books, and then suppose I want to pass something called path as a this like t1 and t1 and t1 and v1 I want to pass. Okay, so that path, like this is the path, okay, which I want to pass. So instead of passing like this, we can pass, we need to add this, like we need to append one slash here. So now this will be treated as a whole path. So I'll I'll give you the understanding. So now let's say we are passing some path. Let's say uh, let's say book path or book underscore path. Okay, so book underscore path we are passing, and now we need to get that also. So now we'll get that. So book underscore path, and then we need to tell that this is the path. So we need to write colon and path here. Okay, so now it will be treat it not here. We need to pass path here. Okay, so now it will get treated as a path, and we will define the uh, type of this path. So it will be string. Okay, so now by passing this colon and path here, we can say to the fast API that this will be the path, not the any value which will pass. Okay, so now it will get treated as path, and now we can just return that. So now we'll just return that path. So let's return uh, path is and then we'll return path. So book path is the path. So now let's try. So now if I'll click on this, so as you can see, we are getting the successful response, and that's what we wanted to get. Okay, so as you can see, we are getting this path. So as you can see, we have added two slashes here. If I'll try to add only one, then this is also which we are getting. So by default it will uh, add add, uh, add only one slash, but uh, if we'll pass two slash, then we can also get this first slash into our output. Okay, so this is the thing which you can do. If I'll uh, try to run this in this page, then let's do that. So now if I'll pass any pass, let's try it out. And then if I'll pass, uh, let's say v1 slash v1 slash v01. Okay, and if I'll execute this, and then as you can see, we are getting the path into this. Okay, if I try to pass one more appended slash, like this is looking like a path, right? So if I'll execute this, then as you can see, we will get this kind of thing. So now I hope you understood that how we can pass parameters into our URL in FastAPI. I hope you liked this video, and please follow this series so you will understand more about FastAPI. Please like this video and do subscribe the channel. I'll see you in the next